Hello everyone, I'm Charlie. I'm going to today give you a quick demonstration of how to implement the ML3 procedure. So for all of your experimenters out there, hopefully this will give you some guidance on how to most effectively give the paradigm to participants. So right now, I'm in my lab space. I'm going to walk you through some of the steps that I take before participants even show up to get set up for things. So if you'll follow me this way, the first thing I do is I set up the participant's room that they're actually going to be in. So this is one of our participant rooms. This is the desk they'll be taking the study at. The two things I've already got ready for them is I have their consent forms already laid out. We have one for them to keep and one for us to keep on file. I have also already loaded the computerized portion of the study onto the computer. So when they come in and sit down, all they'll see is the welcome screen with the instruction that they should wait until I tell them to press continue. Keep an eye out for this. Most of the time participants will follow these instructions, but make sure to note if anyone clicks continue prior to you saying anything. The other part of the study I set up are the materials that I'll be giving later that I keep in my own experimenter room. So the first two things I do is I check my materials in the session on the two session spreadsheets I sent you. So the first, the in-session spreadsheet, I've already filled out the date, my initials for the experimenter so you can keep track of who collected data when, and the temperature in the lab off of a thermostat that we have on the wall in here. The station that the participant is at, you'll fill out later. For our stations in this lab, all of the rooms have letters. Make up whatever naming scheme makes the most sense for your station. Just make sure you're able to keep that consistent. Also, I have the pre-session organization sheet that tells the order and on what clipboard the in-lab portion of the study should be in. So I already have one of my clipboards set up for my participant that I'll be demonstrating here in a moment. So I have the whole sample packet on here. It's got the cover sheet that I can check and make sure that everything's in order. So the first thing I check is it on the right clipboard? It should be on the clipboard labeled 10. I've put a little label on the bottom here so that participants won't see it, but so that your experimenters can check really quick and make sure they're on the right clipboard. That the issue importance task should be first, which it is, followed by the spatial recognition task, which it is, and it's got the A condition papers already on there. Very importantly, I've already put the subject number in the bottom left corner of all pages in this packet. This will correspond to your in-session spreadsheet and will be what you later input on the participant's computer. I also, if you happen to have another participant coming or you'll need to reload your packets or your clipboards at any point, I already have the next packet ready to go. It's all in order. I have the subject ID already on here. And if I want to check, I can look on my pre-session organization spreadsheet and make sure that the conditions that are listed for that number are indeed the conditions that are on this packet. Once everything is checked and good to go, be sure to take this cover page off before you hand it to the participant. So at this point, I've got my clipboard set and ready to go. The participant station is already set and ready to go with their computer up and running. I am ready to start receiving participants. At which point, I'll have my volunteer come in. Hi, are you here for the study?
Yes.
Perfect. If you'd like to go to the end of the hall, on your left there's an open door with the station set up. There are 2 copies of the informed consent on your desk. If you could read and sign both of them for me, please. At this point, just wait for all of the participants that you are going to be having in the session that have signed up, show up, give them time to get in, get settled, and read the consent forms and sign them. Once everyone has signed the forms and you've collected the copy for yourself, you'll then read them the introduction for the study and get them started on the computer portion. So once they're done, I walk in. Perfect, and I'll keep one and you can keep the other. Thank you. Alright, you're my only participant this session, so we can go ahead and get started. Welcome to the session. Today you will be completing several unrelated tasks. As such, do not be concerned when the topics of the tasks vary greatly. Each comes with its own set of instructions, so please read and follow them carefully. During the study, you will receive a message to find your experimenter to complete the next portion. At that time, quietly leave your station and find me. Do you have any questions?
No.
Alright, please click continue on your screen to begin. At this point, you can leave all of the participants to the computerized portion. They'll receive all of the instructions on the screen and follow through. So, at this point, I recommend going back toward wherever you have the clipboards, wherever your experimenter station is set up. The next thing that you'll have to do is receive participants and facilitate the in-lab portion of the study. So all of the surveys and all the exercises that are on the clipboard. What I recommend is being a little bit vigilant toward when the participants are going to come. So they will see at one point a screen on their computer that prompts them to come find the experimenter. When they do, you'll need to give them the next clipboard that you have set up. Importantly, try and remember what station they came from. You'll need that information later. So at this point, I would wait for the participant to receive the message to come find the experimenter. And hopefully hear them coming in the lab. So as they walk down the hallway.
I got the message.
Yeah. Next, I'll just need you to fill out these surveys. They're pretty quick, so you can just do them here.
Okay.
The important part of this part of the procedure is also having a pen ready. The important part of this part of the procedure is making this seem natural for the participant. It should just be an offhand comment in the study that they just have to do this little part and they happen to be on paper, no need to worry about it. Whereas the introduction and the briefing, feel free to have the script in hand to refer to it to make sure you have that language delivered in a standard way. This is the part of the study that you need memorized. Again, the biggest part is giving it naturally. Also, where you hand them the clipboard. You'll notice that the participant's kind of in the hallway, but not near any of the other participants. There's nowhere to really sit down or set the clipboard down on. We want them to be standing when they do this portion. If they do anything odd at this part, like lean against the wall or sit on the floor for some reason, make sure to note that on your in-session spreadsheet. And then once they're done, okay, thanks, you can now go back to your station and finish the computer portion.
Okay.
At which point that participant will go back to their station. If you happen to have another participant that you need to reload the clipboard for, this is why you organized your packets ahead of time. It's as simple as take off the sheets that they completed, set them somewhere, grab your next packet, take off the cover sheet, clip it down, and you're ready to receive the next person. At this point, or after you have implemented the in-lab procedure for all participants, it's just about waiting for participants to complete the computerized portion. Once they do that, they'll receive a message that once again tells them to come find you, to tell you that they have completed the computer portion of the study. Again, just kind of be listening and on the lookout for when participants are finished. So then they will come out of their stations and try to find you, at which point head down to them, say, we're going to wait for everyone else to finish the study. If you want to go back in your room and start reading this, it explains a little bit about the study. I'll tell you more about it in a second. The other important part, follow them back into their room. So on the in-session spreadsheet, participant numbers on the farthest left-hand column. Then there's a spot for station next to that. So I handed my participant the packets with the participant number 1 on them. So that's when she has received her participant number. When she finishes the study, again, she'll see a screen that, if you'll excuse me, if the computer doesn't freeze, tells her to then come find me. Click continue at that point. You'll see a page that says experimenter use only across the top with an open text box on it. This is where you're going to enter their participant number. Now this part is vitally important. If you fail to do this, we won't be able to link the participants' in-lab data to their computerized data. And that's going to pose a big problem for us later on down the line. So when you get to that point, click continue on the screen. It'll bring you to the next screen with the text box. I would enter participant number 1 for our participant, click continue, and then you can close out the browser. At this point, you then would wait for all participants to finish the procedure. Once everyone's done and everyone's received the debriefing sheet, kind of bring them together to read the debriefing. So this is on the experimental script that was sent out. So I'd say, thank you for completing today's session. As it says in the debriefing form, the study consisted of several replications of past psychological findings. We are interested in investigating whether the time of the academic term influences these effects. Basically, we would like to know if participants vary in their responses and task performance across the academic term. Among the tasks you completed today, there were a few instances of deception. Specifically, at one point, you read an article about the university instituting comprehensive exams for students. To our knowledge, this is not a proposal that is currently being considered, and these articles were fabricated for the purpose of this study. We were interested in how the quality of the arguments you read would influence your thoughts about the article and its message. You also completed a task that asked you to unscramble letters to form words. In actuality, some of these problems were unsolvable. There was no way for you to correctly complete all of them. We were interested in seeing how long you would persist on this task before moving on. We apologize for these misdirections. Sometimes knowing the true goals of the study can make it difficult or impossible for people to respond as they naturally would. We tried to create realistic and compelling situations so that we could elicit your most natural responses. If you have any questions about these sections or any of the tasks completed, I will gladly answer them now. If no one has any questions, and if your institution requires that you give a deception consent form, this is when you introduce that. Say, since you were deceived, you have the right to withdraw your data from the study. This will not affect any credit you will receive for participating. Please fill out this form, and we'll hand each participant a consent form for deception studies, indicating whether or not you would like us to use your data in the analyses. So give participants some time to read over that second consent form and sign it and mark whether or not they would like us to use our data or not. If the participant chooses to not allow us to use their data, please email me immediately so we can remove their data from the set. Once all participants have had time to read that and sign it and ask any questions, you can then dismiss everyone and prepare for the next session. So this hopefully gives you a little bit of an idea of what the paradigm will look like for ManyLabs 3. As always, if you have any questions or if anything comes up in implementation, please don't hesitate to let me know. Again, thank you all for your help, and I'm very excited to get this project underway with you.